Well, hello there, Leo. Let's jump into a general weekly reading. I just saw the Hierophant. I feel like things are epically developing at this time, and you're going to feel a new sense of self coming to be. It's like you're not going to find any shortage of, spiritual assistance, but self respect is playing into this week. It's to say that you're now choosing to honor yourself while really buckling down in regards to a goal or two that you so badly want to fulfill and check off to then shift things on forward moving forward. And I really sense that you're starting to empower yourself more while spirits are assisting with this as well. You're starting to feel like things are actually going to move in the right direction, and they're reminding you that you don't feel things by accident. You don't feel things for no reason. And it's like you're golden. That's the energy coming through. Let's get a couple cards. You are golden, Leo. It's to say that you don't expect to get things done at certain points throughout the week, and then you magically get it done in a very kind of spur of the moment way. And it's better than if you were to sit down with such purpose where, that holds, great benefit and whatnot at other points, maybe the majority of the time. But there's sort of a spontaneity, if I could even say it, about your energy at certain points. Spirit saying when you feel like going for a walk, just go for a stroll, right? Trust your intuition always, but you're going to feel like people are also seeing you in a very, justice-driven light. Love that for us. And so it's a week period where this Leo collective starts to feel like, damn, I deserve to achieve more than one form of justice because life hasn't been easy. And as life starts to feel, I want to say more productive, but less heavy, you then feel like the possibilities are really kind of just there for you to utilize, to reach for. And I see you starting to as well experience and even create the rebalancing of your individual scale or scales as my voice shakes. And sometimes Spirit's saying that if you're feeling nervous, your physical reality is playing into it, okay? You're forgetting that sometimes spiritual entities do not leave the house that you're living in or wherever it may be, or they specifically stick with where you're working or that storefront. And so these off energies are starting to really become more, real, but it's like the truth of which is becoming very clear to you, so you can then adjust and not sit in, all of this energy. There's something about you maybe realizing or remembering that you can sit in one spot here, and it could be just several feet to the right or to the left where you move your physical location, and the energy is different. It's maybe a lot healthier. It reminds me of me reading on the other side of the lawn, and it was a lot heavier than over here, and so just listen to the energy, all right? Don't overdo it, of course, but I feel energy is going to assist you with adjusting and accomplishing unlike any other week that you've experienced, honestly. For Leo, there's something about Leo and Libras really blending well together. I've recently spoken upon this with someone random, and it's true because Leos and Libras typically, they don't clash, right? And obviously there are different types of every, zodiac sign, and everyone has different placements. But it's a week where those who you feel, even other zodiac signs, but just energies individually, those who you feel you blend well with, or it's easy to connect with them, even if things are awkward at certain points. These are your people, or these are the type of energies we want you to associate with. And so connection starts to take a highlight as well. And you're going to find, my friends, that you're thinking a lot about your past where you don't want to. There's purpose. Maybe you're too future focused at this time. As well, you're asking yourself, without meaning to, some very important questions. Why do I feel the need to partake in what certain negative entities or even my past is pushing me towards? Why is it that I feel like working out more? There's so many reasonings to it. This is our energy, the strength card. And so they're saying, in a sense, you're coming back to yourself at certain points, like Libra's reading had mentioned, but that's not going to feel the same as it did before. Why, Leo? Because you've changed. Why, Leo? Because you're being, protected from, okay, repeating the past in certain ways, but it's like Spirit's welcoming you to a bit of a new existence, all right? I keep wanting to say reality, but existence feels to be more on point. It's to say that you've been maybe too disconnected or too stressed or negatively affected to the point where you're not achieving certain results you're meant to. And now there's a bit of a strength and a golden way about you to the point where you connect very strategically in the moment and then you disconnect and it all just kind of creates the results that you're meant to. I also feel you are going to learn more about these stresses that you've dealt with. The number 5555 is coming out, 4 5s, okay? And I'm now getting 444. Spirit's going to show you feathers and maybe even the direct wording to say, we support you, we have your back. Some of you need to revisit your old stomping ground, whether it was where you would gravitate towards for one, if not multiple reasons, or it could have been a neighborhood or other place where you once resided, lived. And this was more stressful than you're remembering. Okay, there was something about that really helped you on a multitude of levels, but it's like when you think about these two energies, I feel a lot of you connect it to further back, right? Many chapters ago or just a couple. And they're saying this was more recent, all right? And so as you learn more about what you went through and why we can't be glorifying at this time and why you maybe were guided away from a situation or an area once again, I just feel like it's going to benefit you greatly, all right? It's to say as well, I'm getting the feeling spirits are preparing you for certain big choices, right? You're going to have to choose a big place to live in the future. Okay, somebody, it's a mansion, but it's a big high rise for somebody where you're going to be in one of the nicer suites or whatever. Anyways, as we get a bit far away from the message, you're going to need to make certain big choices in the future, and this, like we were mentioning, is preparing you for this. Because it feels like at times you want to choose something similar to what you once had, and then they're saying, again, it wasn't all black and white. It wasn't all, sugar plums and fairies is now the wording coming through. You may as well see rainbows throughout the week. It may talk about, being gay and whatnot, because, I'm a gay Leo, but I do feel for the majority it's saying color and happiness is about to seep back into your reality. In certain ways, you'll experience that throughout the week. You'll start to feel better about where your life is heading, even though there's certain sort of amounts of stuck energy that we're working on releasing and adjusting your viewpoint on, and so that you can then shift on forward easier, right? If you continuously view what you're committed to at this time, even if it's one situation, in a heavy way, right? You not only will manifest more, or the repeating, bringing back of certain bad energies and occurrences, but that also damages your shifting on forward when the time comes, all right? Or even the gradual shifting as, the week trickles on forward. The number 8 and the number 9 seem to want to show up, and you're going to feel like really taking care of yourself through the act of eating healthy foods. Light workouts are essential. You're going to as well find if you've been experiencing some sort of physical pain, even if it comes and it goes, this is not the week to experience it. Beautiful, right? I'm not saying it's gone for good. I can't guarantee that for every single Leo within this collective, nor is this part resonating for everybody. It's a week free of that pain. Isn't that beautiful? But the Lover's coming out because they're saying you may start to fall back in love with life. All right, you may start to actually enjoy the choices you're making instead of going through the motions or letting certain spirits control those choices to the point where you don't even enjoy it. You don't even realize what you're doing in the moment at times, or then you regret it partially because of that, okay? And so it's about being present in the midst of making certain solid intuitive choices and letting spirit help you in certain other ways to the point where you enjoy life again, okay? Or at least start to get back to that way of being. And again, spirit's saying, you're literally so protected, and the week reminds you of that. Other people will be feeling like you are very, very spiritual. I want to, I don't know why I feel like bringing it up, but last night I was about to finish up my shift, right? I was preparing fruit, and my boss, who I work with all 3 of the days during my weekends, is creeping up behind me. She loves to scare me. And Spirit pushed me to turn around right as she was about to scare me behind me. And her and another, managerial figure were just like, holy crap, like, because it's, I'm spiritually protected. And so that may show up differently for you. Thanks for listening to that story. But they're saying, as you choose better, Leo, as you choose different, it inches you closer to your happily ever after, all right, what you truly want and deserve out of life. But you're going to more than ever better utilize and maybe make the best out of what's currently within your reality. But then again, things are feeling and being experienced different, and that's playing into it. But that is where I'm going to leave our weekly reading. I hope these messages were truly helpful. Do take care, Leo.